It's just gone 5 past. So, yes, welcome one and all to this week's edition of the Chroma Market Roundtable, the discussion where we talk you through the markets, we guide you through the charts, and give our takes on what's going on in the market and try and set you up nicely for the next 7 days. That's the goal of these conversations, that's the goal of these discussions, is to give you some insight into what the market is doing and let you know what our thoughts are. Today, we are joined by Osbra, Victor, Purdue, and very special guest. We have Omar from Finico. Omar, thank you for joining us. Maybe first of all, the first thing we can do is you can give us a quick introduction. I know this is not your first time being a guest on a Chroma stream. I think maybe it's your third, but you can correct me there. I think it's your third, but maybe you can give an introduction for anyone who didn't have the pleasure of listening to you before.
Well, hello everyone. So just to be quick, I'm the co-founder of the company Fineco. It's a French company which makes sure that we, how can I say, we explain to everyone how the top-down method works. So to explain how it works, we make macroeconomic analysis, but also geopolitical and sectorial analysis, just to make sure to be ahead of the next trends in the stock market. So for us, it's very important to analyze the political. Well, I would say the
Political landscape, maybe.
yeah,
Political
political
environment.
landscape, but also
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So monetary policies, but also the government policies, to understand where the next flows will go in terms of sectors. So that's how we work. And since last Wednesday, now I work in a in a hedge fund, and I'm there as an economist.
That's
It's in
awesome.
Monaco.
Okay,
Yeah,
very nice.
thank you.
Yeah. Hopefully you get to. Have you been to the Grand Prix yet, or is that something that's coming in the future?
I live in Monaco actually, so I've been to the
Ah,
Grand Prix for many times. It's not my
there
first
you go.
time,
Yeah.
so yeah,
You have
But I have my place for the next one.
Very nice. You have the cars driving below your window, I'm presuming. That's awesome, man. And yeah, hopefully we'll get to talk to you a little bit more about macro and about the political landscape as we get in further into the discussion. But for now, I want to quickly check in with the boys. We're talking about Bitcoin. I have my read here, or at least I've had my read, which is rejection from channel high. We tagged that Wednesday POC, that Wednesday NPOC level that I had been looking at. We went all the way back down to the Tuesday NPOC level, and this is kind of the level that I'm looking for a reaction from. But I'm curious to get the panel's takes on this. I saw Osbra posted an interesting chart in the chat just now, so I want to go to Osbra first of all. Osbra, what are you seeing in the BTC chart? How are you viewing this rejection that we've seen over the last day or two on Bitcoin?
I would say not really surprised. First, because you guys know that I've been quite bearish the last couple of weeks. So this is quite frustrating to see that everything is dumping now after kicking me out of the market. But I do believe if the market is really bullish, this is the test, right? We should hold this level if the market is really bullish. Why? Because simply according to range theories, auction market theories, getting back inside the previous value area or inside the previous range is not a good signal. That would be quite bearish in my opinion. Basically, this is the bullish squiggle, but we can also basically do something like this and get back inside the range, and then your plan would play out, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna talk about it. But for now, this is how I see the market. I think if we manage to hold this level, we go higher. I don't think that at the 80K level has been a good idea anyway. It didn't get touched, but I don't think it was a good idea to begin with. Simply because it was an overcrowded level. Everyone said, yeah, we go to 80K, and then we full short towards like 50K, 40K. Usually when something is overcrowded, it never works. So I do believe if we go back up and we take these equal highs, we have like a lot of liquidity above this level. So most likely we push way above 80K. I'm not sure we're going to reach the cross that we have here, which is around like 83. But this is where I would TP if I get in this long. And this is where I would try a short as well. Why this level? Simply because this is an SR flip. Just going to go quickly over what I explained in my last Twitch streams. This is the SR flip here. That was the support level that we breached to go to 60K. But also, if you enable the EMAs, you have the EMA 200 around 82.5. So that adds a bit of confluence. And also, if you pull the should I say it because Vic is around? But if you pull the fibs, you have the golden pocket. That was like a joke, of course. Like you have the golden pocket right here aligned with this level. So this is why I'm interested to TP slash maybe short sell this level if we get the chance. Also to add a bit more context to why I like this level, beside the fact it was the previous resistance level. We also have, as you can see here on the daily, the EMA 100, which is the blue line right here. And if we go to MMT, it was the naked point of control. This is why I had the box just here. This level got tagged. It got swept, actually. So I'm looking for some reaction. I do like that we have some CVD divergence right here with the price making a lower low, but CVD making a higher high. So maybe we do have some buyers stepping in soon. Also, open interest got reset. So yeah, let's see if it works. As I said, I'm not really in a rush to long without a proper close above, without a proper reaction. For now, I think it's quite muted. I have no idea if it's because of latest Trump statement regarding the war. I noticed that the barrel price went above 100 again. Usually, it indicates that the market is quite cautious. So if the market cautious, I will be as well, and I'm just going to wait a little bit until I get enough confidence to take this long. Of course, if we get back inside the range, my idea is that we revisit 65. I still don't know about lower. I'm still sticking to my idea that 60K was the bottom, unless we get something really, really bad in the next few days. I don't think we go lower than this. Maybe a sweep of the level, and that would be it in my opinion. That's my take on BTC, guys.
Thank you for that. Victor, want to go straight to you. How are you viewing this Bitcoin price action? Are you in the same camp as Osbra, or was he using too many fib levels for your liking?
First of all, yeah, too many few levels. But no, jokes aside, I agree with him that we are at a key level right now, which is very important for bulls to hold. But for me, I'm leaning slightly more to the bearish side from what I've seen this week so far. I explained everything in my channel, but just to point it out again, the week started with a failure to break out above the previous week high. It was barely a sweep, but we did technically sweep the previous week high, and then a quick sell-off started also that Wednesday NPOC that you mentioned. And now we found ourselves below the weekend consolidation, which is again not a good sign for bulls. Also paired with the fact that we had a very long uptrend for like 29 days, and if my process was correct, it has been the longest uptrend since October last year, so it was due to end at some point. Did it end now, or will we see another continuation of the rally? I don't know, but I'm betting more on the side of the bears. Also, you know, I love my stats, and I checked since 2021 when the Monday candle is bearish and then Tuesday prints another low. 60% of the time that week ends up being bearish and we never revisit the Monday high. So that again would reinforce my bearish bias for the week ahead. But just like Osbro said, we are at a key level right now. We are where the previous range high was. So if bulls somehow manage to hold this level, for today. I can see a world where this is the bottom of the week and then we continue rallying higher. But like I said, I think it's more likely that we break below this level. Maybe we get an underside retest and then we start the movement that would make this just a range high deviation, just like we had this movement here. And yeah, in my opinion, yeah, you guys already know this. I think we go sub 60K end of May, beginning of June. I also want to show you a very interesting chart that I analyzed yesterday on stream, and it is, well, how long will we keep ranging? And for this, I use this indicator, which is called the ATR, the average to range, basically measures volatility. And you can see how you have a huge spike when you get a big move, and then it calms down. When you start ranging again, big move. When we exit the range, and then again, the volatility goes down. If you measure it by time, and if you also look at where usually the ATR has bottomed in the past two ranges, it would mean that we need to get a very volatile move by the end of May. So that also lines up with my bearish bias given what just happened this week. So yeah, I agree that we can still hold this range high level and then push higher, but I think it's more likely that we break below it and get the rotation to value low and range lows that I've been waiting for a long time.
That's pretty bearish. That's fascinating. I really like that that true ranged indicator that you just looked at there, which I guess is kind of related to, I remember back in the day reading up on volatility traders and volatility indicators and how the key issue with those traders and that type of analysis is actually picking a direction, because you can
Yep.
predict with statistical models pretty well when volatility is going to come to the markets, right? Because it kind of like it becomes increasingly likely that you're going to get some after a period of time, etc. But the difficulty is figuring out a bias, and I think that's
You
something
don't
that
need to necessarily. I explained yesterday in my channel. Maybe it's a little bit complicated, but you can use options to just basically
options,
be long on
sure.
volatility without actually needing to predict the direction. And that's what I'm gonna do middle of May before the move that I expect, regardless of whether it's gonna be up or down.
Man has brains coming out of his ears. But for us basic price action traders who draw lines on charts, we have to use far more basic methods of analysis. Purdue, speaking of basic methods of analysis. No, I'm just kidding.
Thanks for that.
What?
I'm such a basic.
No, talk us through your analysis, because I know you've been firmly in Camp Bull for the last few months, right? You've been waiting for
Yeah.
this. You've been waiting for this breakout, and I want to ask you very, very directly: is this downside a worry for you? Is this just a bullish retest, or is this something that you're kind of wondering whether you have the right bias looking for upside?
Usually when I get a bit more quiet, like the last few days, I think I've been quiet since February, since Wednesday, let's say Thursday. That's usually when I see like a small consolidation period is coming, and longs are not favored anymore when you trade into the high 70s. So basically, I think personally that the March high that we set at around that 76K, that's now the level to watch, is going to break. And personally, I'm eyeing a bit more downside towards the weekly EMA 13, which is currently resting at 74.5. So I think that will rinse that 76K longers into here, and that's where I just put a limit. So I want to see that 73.9, 74K level hold to retest that point of breakdown over here. This is where we started that bigger trend down mid-March. And that's usually for me a bigger point of interest than the March high that we're currently retesting around that 76K level. So yeah, I have my eyes on 73.9 and I'm not really interested in longs for the moment. What I do found really interesting is that the bio ecosystem is really thriving at the moment, where the virtual ecosystem basically died off. The biosystem with the peptides hype is really booming at the moment. So once BTC settles around that 73.9, 74K level, I'm really interested in bio and longing that one as my altcoin flavor of May. So yeah, all eyes on that one. But for now, I'm flat.
Right, 100%. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Thank you for that. Want to go to Omar now. Omar from Finico. Obviously, we're talking about Bitcoin here. I do want to move the conversation into a slightly higher time frame, more macro based discussion. But very quick one. Do you trade Bitcoin? Is it something that you look at? Are these
Yeah.
charts that you pay attention to? And if so, what's your current read on this Bitcoin price action?
Well, to be honest, I paid Bitcoin around $60. So to be honest with you, I started around 75K, and I was waiting for 58K. It didn't happen. But yeah, I'm accumulating Bitcoin, and I'm quite bullish on it for the long term. So for me, I'll be honest with you, I don't care the price nowadays. I just have my orders, and I wait for the next run.
Sure. And are you like, obviously you look at the macro. Does that reflect on your analysis in the charts? Do you look at more high time frame stuff? You said you're basically price insensitive. That kind of reminds me of guys who are taking a more high time frame investment approach. So presumably you're not really trading the low time frame. You're not scalping the M5 chart or something. You're
No,
focused on return over years, right?
yes, exactly. Because I've already told that to Osbra, but I'm not talented on trading, so I prefer to take my time. And yeah, I'll be honest with you. I bought it when it was lower than 20K. I sold around 100K because I was fine with the performance, and also I was aware that the liquidity on market wouldn't be that great on crypto, but also on the stock market. So at this moment, I said, okay, I'm fine with 100K. I go out, and whatever happens, I will see later. So I think I was right because I'm quite exposed on euro. So I think I sold around the top in euro. And now I'm just building my position again. I have my time. For the moment, I agree with Osbra. I believe that the 60K was the bottom. But I think that if the macro landscape is going worse and worse, maybe we will see lower prices, and I think that 40K is a possibility.
Yeah, I love that because that actually that is effectively what I've been looking for the last several months, and maybe something that I'm expecting later in the year. I just want to quickly touch on. I want to get a little bit deeper into the actual analysis that you do, because and this is something that I'm sure will fascinate our members, but it fascinates me. Like what exactly? Like, because I mean, we just I made a joke about drawing lines on charts. Like I know, like price action traders, we're fairly basic bitches at the end of the day. We look at things like support, resistance, supply, demand, right? We look at liquidity sweeps. We look at all these things. But I'm always fascinated by the macro guys, the guys who can look at the charts and look at the markets in a kind of a more holistic way. So I'm just curious to know, like, what are your actual analytical tools and analytical methods? Like when you sit down in the morning and you look at the markets, what are you reading? What are you paying attention to? What has your attention?
Well, in my job, I usually look at surveys. So the most important thing to me is we have some secrets I can tell, obviously, but to be more general, I would say that we are looking at surveys. Twitter is a very important tool because we have to be a bit aware of what is going on. What is very important to me now is especially what the most important people are saying. So obviously, I have to listen to Trump, even if I believe that he's not that honest these last days. But the thing is, how I work is I have a lot of elements per day, and my job is to make sure that we transcript all these elements in macro variables. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, but to me, each information, each thing that can happen per day has an impact on our forecasts. So this is how I work. So for example, today when we look at what is going on, obviously when the war started, for us, well, for me, I was saying that I was believing that this war wouldn't last that long. So my forecasts were quite okay. I was like, okay, there won't be any stagflation or any recession, and I was quite bullish. And I was only waiting for the market to find its bottom and to see Trump having a tackle. That's what I was waiting for, and it happened. And for me, we would have a big rally on the stock market because I was believing that the investors, institutional investors, didn't want to go out of the market. They were short, they had heavy shorts on the stock market, and they were just waiting to buy and to get in some opportunities on the AI market, and for several reasons I will tell you later. But now they are waiting for macro data. They want to listen to Powell and to have a great vision of the point of view of Jerome Powell tomorrow. So actually, we have done, to me, we have done what I was waiting for. We were extremely bearish. The market is showing that they wanted to buy some opportunities and to have a great rally. And it was obvious because they believe that the AI market is driving everything on the US. For example, in terms of macroeconomic, now we believe that the US growth will slow down, and it will be only driven by AI. So consumption will go to zero for us. Investment will almost go to zero except for AI. And actually, the only thing that will be positive in the US economy will be AI and its virtue on the US economy. So for us, the rally we are seeing reflects that. But now we want to see if maybe the growth will be slowing even more, and if we have more inflation in the next months. So the market are now waiting for the next data and also for the next speeches from the Fed. So that's how I see the market now.
Yeah, and that brings us very nicely onto our next topic. I will come back to you in a moment, Omar, but for the moment, I want to get Osbra's take on this. Obviously, Omar just mentioned inflation, he mentioned rate cuts, and he mentioned the next meeting, the FOMC meeting, obviously is kicking off today. We'll have a decision tomorrow. Looks like rate cuts are probably not going to happen. What is the position of the Fed now in the market, and specifically in the crypto market? We've had FOMC decisions in the past where it's been a big focal point. At the moment, it seems like no one is talking about it because all the focus is on what's happening in Iran, what's happening with Trump. But I mean, this is Powell's last Fed meeting as chairperson. After this, we have Kevin Warsh, which was, again, this was a huge talking point end of last year. It seems like now barely anyone is talking about it. Why is that, and what is the expectation around this FOMC meeting?
Yeah, for me, they will.
First, Omar
Oh,
first.
sorry. Yeah, this is for Osbar. I'll come back to you. Omar.
My bad.
I give you the mic in a second, Omar. Just in a second. Yeah, like first of all, as you said, you don't think we're gonna have rate cuts. I don't think either. And if you look at FedWatch tool, last week it was 99.5% chance of oppose, and today it's 100% chance of oppose. So yeah, I don't think we get a cut. The thing is, as always, what's going to matter is going to be the speech and the questions. I'm just scared of one thing. It's what I was explaining yesterday. I'm just scared that the questions are all about Kevin Warsh taking over and how they're going to do the replacement. I'm just scared that the questions will be quite boring, but I hope Powell is going to give an all-out outlook of the current macroeconomic situation. Just for the thing, just the fun fact, Omar just here is like the number one Jerome Powell's hater. He doesn't like it at all, right? And he always disagrees with Powell, but he mentioned stagflation, and that's one thing that they have in common today. Is like Powell doesn't believe we're gonna have stagflation. He said that the impact of the war obviously are driving prices to the upside, and that it's going to be temporary, and that the Fed has done quite a good job tanking the tariff, even though the Federal Reserve is a bit more cautious and told us that we might see like more turmoil, but that will be contained, right? Now regarding the transition with Kevin Walsh, unfortunately, and it's something I was disagreeing with Omar last year and in 2024 about the independency of the Fed. I tend to believe the Fed is not going to be independent, like with Kevin Walsh at all. Why? We had, you said it was a big thing at the end of last year when Kevin Walsh got nominated. The market nuked because everybody knew this guy was hawkish. He is favoring like a strong dollar, low inflation. So definitely not the current conditions. So everyone was scared when he got nominated, and then he testified against the Senate. Trump is already putting pressure on him, saying, "Yeah, when Kevin Walsh is going to take over, he's going to lower interest rates as soon as possible." And Kevin Walsh acknowledged, and he said, "Oh yeah, when I'm going to take over, I'm going to like lower interest rates." Knowing the past of this guy, it's a little bit hard to believe he changed his mind, especially after inflation bounced 1% on the CPI headline. So I'm a bit scared. We see some more manipulation. And Kevin Walsh, by the way, is a big asset holder. He's a really big asset holder. So imagine being like sitting at the Fed's on top of the Federal Reserve in the USA, holding hundreds of millions of worth of assets, because it's literally what is like worth today. Imagine what you can do when the United States of the president of the United States tell you it's completely fine to manipulate the market. After all, the world is just a big casino. I'm just quoted him with this line. It's literally what he said to the journalist. So yeah, I think tomorrow will be quite boring, to be honest, because we know the outcome regarding the rate cuts, and I'm scared the questions will be quite boring and being all about the transition to Kevin Walsh.
Yeah, that may be. So, Omar, exact same question to you. Do you agree with Osbra here? Do you disagree? Do you have a slightly different take? Obviously, he mentioned that you are a Jerome Powell bear. Are you happy to see him on his way out?
Yeah, obviously, because he was actually not worth it. No, to me, he's done his job. If he wants to be a fireman after leaving, yeah, he can be a good fireman, because that was his job for 8 years. He was only here to make sure we print money, and that's it. Yeah, he was a good guy for that. But no, to be more serious, the thing is that I disagree with Osbra for tomorrow, because I think that the market wants to see more visibility, and we have no visibility. The last FOMC was problematic for the markets, and we had a dump after his intervention, because we have seen that no one knows what is going to happen in the next weeks or even in the next months. So now I think the market is still waiting for that. And if Jerome Powell is even more hawkish than the last time, I think we will see another drawdown. Not a big correction, but a drawdown that shows to the market that we are not in a good position in terms of macro. So that's how I see the FMC. I don't care about his decision, because I think he won't do anything, and it's obvious. If I was the president of the Fed, I wouldn't have done anything. But I think that his vision is very important, because the matter we have now is very, very, very short term. and markets tend to believe that everything will be fine. But if you have a president of the Fed who doesn't believe everything will be fine, I think this can be that good. So that's what I believe about tomorrow. And about Warsh, I also disagree. I would even say I strongly disagree with Osbra, because I don't care about his holdings and about everything. The thing is that the most important thing to the US is the credibility of the dollar. If the institution has no more credibility, dollar goes to zero, and that's it. And Warsh is aware of that, and that's why, and that's what he had defended for many years now. For him, he wants a good dollar. That's what Besant was also defending for a long time. He just wanted a slightly lower dollar because he knew that it would be problematic for the trade balance of the US. But now he's very satisfied with the level of the dollar now, and I think they want to make sure that the dollar doesn't go to zero next. If Warsh is the completely if he is the puppet of Trump, as a lot of people tend to say, I think a lot of people will be short dollar, but I think it's not that obvious. So he will take time. I think the first months, his job will be to make sure that they reform the Fed. I think that's how I see his next months. When I say reform, I tend to believe that he will make sure that the current data, the current indicators they use are not the main ones. And I believe he's right, because now we have a K-shaped economy, which shows that only 1% of the population is very fine with what is going on now. And also because AI has taken a lot of weight in the US economy. So they have to adapt to the world we are facing now. And that's going to be his first job, I think. And after he has done all that job, I think he will take his time and make sure that they take the good decisions. And the last thing to me that makes me believe that he won't be the puppet of Trump is the fact that the long rates are very important for the US. If the Fed isn't independent, long rates will go high, and this could be a great issue for the US debt. So to me, it's only a matter of communication, and I think the markets are not dumb. So if they see that Warsh is really working for Trump, they will react, and we will see a bad thing for a lot of bad things for dollar and for long rates, and for long duration rates. So to me, it's not that obvious that he will be a puppet. I think we need to see a lot of FOMC press conferences to be sure of that. And I think to finish with that, I think he will lower rates only once this year, and it's only because of the job market, because I think we will see an employment rate going higher because of AI. It will take time, but we will see that, and I think it will make sure we see a rate cut before the end of the year. Only one.
Okay, interesting. Osber, you had a question. Jump in.
Yeah. Very quick, because I know Omar has limited time with us. Just I want to clarify. I hope Kevin Walsh is not going to be a puppet, like a Trump's puppet, but I'm scared that he is going to be one, because I think we agree on this point. Kevin Walsh has a history of being hawkish and being in favor of a strong dollar, and I think this is what I said during my intervention. But how you can be credible and how you can reinforce the Fed's credibility when you say the first thing I'm going to do when I take over will be to cut rates. that's my concern, and this is what makes me a bit scared about the Fed's independency in the next few months, knowing that Trump will probably do anything he can to see the Fed doing what he wants to do, especially with the midterms coming. So that's why, like, I want to insist on the fact I am scared. I hope it's going to be independent, of course, but like, how you can say that the Fed will have credibility when, with the current macro uncertainty and the latest batch of data, you say the first thing I'm going to do is to cut rates. That's my question.
It's a very good one. And the thing is with Warsh is that there is a communication before getting nominated, and there will be a communication after he gets nominated. That's what happened with Powell in 2018. He got nominated by Trump at this time. And I still remember a lot of people were saying that he's going to be Trump's puppet because Trump wants to intervene in everything and he wants to deal with everything. And do you know how it ended? So I think there is a lot of communication before getting nominated and elected, and there is another communication afterwards. And I think we will see a new communication afterwards because I'm telling you, the most important thing for the US is dollar. So if the US, well, I mean, if the Fed is not that independent, we will see a lot of damages. And you know why? And you know what? Kevin Hassett didn't get nominated for that. Normally, Kevin Hassett was the favorite one. Trump wanted Kevin Hassett, but Scott Bessent told him, "Man, you're doing shit. You must not elect. You must not nominate this guy because this guy is going to take us to hell." So now it's Kevin Warsh, and it's also because of that that we have seen a drawdown on the markets when Kevin Warsh was nominated, because the markets were pricing the fact that Kevin Hassett was going to be the next president. That's why we have seen a huge rally on precious metals at a moment. If you remember, from November or even October 2025 till January, we have seen a huge rally on precious metals because they were pricing the fact that Kevin Hassett was going to be the new Fed president and that dollar was going to crash. That's it. And now we have seen that Kevin Warsh was going to be the new president, and it marked the top on euro dollar FX rate. So to me, it's only the big matter for me when Warsh is going to be elected is to see his communication, and I tend to believe that his communication won't be the one of a puppet. So we always have two communications.
So I suggest that Omar is like joining the roundtable after the first Kevin Walsh FOMC meeting, so we can have a talk about the communication.
For sure.
He won't tolerate.
So I know you have to jump in 2 minutes. I just really quickly want to get your take. Give it to me in 60 seconds, right? Your absolute summary take on Trump and Iran for May. What is the resolution here? How is this thing going to play out? What are the talking points that you're looking at, and what should we be paying attention to?
Well, to me, he's going to tackle his goal. I think he's made a mistake. He knows he's made a mistake. I think the big mistake was listening to Netanyahu, who truly told him that taking out Ali Khamenei was going to make sure that there is a new regime in Iran. They noticed that it was a mistake, and now he wants to get out of this war in a good shape. So that's why he tried a blockade on the Strait of Hormuz, and that's why he tweeted today that Iran is in a very, very, very bad shape, and they contacted him to tell him that they are in a very bad shape. So it's only a matter of communication, and he wants to go out of this war as clean as possible. But I think now he has to finish it quite quickly. I think, if to me, and to to my boss, if this thing lasts until June, this is gonna be really, really, really bad for world economy. So he has to finish this as soon as possible and in a good shape. And I think he wants to do that for midterms, but to me he has already lost midterms. So this is going to
It
be problematic for him.
it looks like it. It looks like it. So I know you have to run now, or that was what I was told, is that you have to jump off the call now. So I just want
Yeah,
to say a massive thank you for joining us for this week's Chroma Roundtable. And yeah, as
thank you
Osber
guys.
said, maybe we'll get you back on after Warsh has been in office for a month or two, and
Yeah.
we can get your updated take on that. But yeah, thank you very much. That's Omar from Finico, who thankfully joined us today and gave us his thoughts on the macro. Thank you very much, Omar.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good day.
You too. The roundtable will continue, though, for the next 15, 20 minutes. We are going to bring things back to the market a little bit. I want to talk to our panel about altcoins. Obviously, we have had a little bit of a pullback on alts over the last few days, coinciding with this BTC pullback. Hard to say which direction dominance is going to go going forward. The chart looks pretty bullish. Is this a spot where you should be going risk on alts, Purdue, or is it really still risk off environment? Allocate your capital very carefully. A lot of people on my timeline saying that this is it. Bitcoin is breaking out. This is where you should be getting into position on alt longs. I personally haven't seen that yet. I'm curious to know what your take is.
Yeah, let me post some interesting things in the live stream chat. I think you will still have to be really picky with your flavor of the day or your flavor of the month. Like I discussed, I think bio has the best narrative at the moment to become one of the top gainers of this month. I can show you the chart. The chart is pretty much aligning with my ID here. So yeah, the bio chart, we basically lost that 10-10 wick into that capitulation wick. Then we deviated below that wick, and now we had a nice impulse candle last week through that level. I think it's a level of importance as it also tested it on the early January 2025, and we had that capitulation wick into that level again on 10-10, which we all know what that event was. Now we reclaimed it, so your invalidation is quite clean here, and I really like it when technical analysis and fundamental analysis align. So yeah, you have that reclaim of that big level. The daily EMA 13 is reclaimed. I'm not going to draw any fibs on it, but the daily EMA 13 should be telling, and that support resistance flip of that capitulation wick is also telling. That in line with the fundamentals, with the big peptides hike in there, creating a lot of buzz on the timeline at the moment. So I think once BTC comes into my key level around that 73.9, 74K level, which I put in the tracker already, I think bio is the one to watch as it's showing relative strength basically. Yeah, so that's going to be the only one I'm keeping my eye on for now.
Yep, that makes a ton of sense. Victor, I know you're not much of an altcoin trader. I'm presuming nothing has changed there. You haven't suddenly decided in the last 7 days that the altcoin market has shifted in such a way that you're interested in trading it.
No, obviously not. But I still think that the BTC dominance chart is really interesting because it's rather really correlated with the BTC chart, in a sense that when BTC bottomed at 65K, that was the bottom for BTC dominance as well. And now that BTC has rallied to almost 80K, BTC dominance has also rallied. But if you look in the last 2 days, when BTC has dumped, BTC dominance has also dumped. And this is quite interesting because what this actually means is that, well, if BTC pumps, alts pump less. If BTC dumps, alts dump less, which is the exact opposite that you'd expect from altcoins, which in theory they should be higher beta assets. So you you should expect to see quite the opposite. So the market is in a really interesting place because of this, and I think it's mostly because all eyes are on BTC with the ongoing conflict in the Middle East and the whole debacle about the U.S. economy. That's quite interesting. We just heard about it. So yeah, for now, because I don't understand why this is happening, I'm really not paying any attention to alts. Maybe there are a few that are decorrelated from BTC, but for now, I think that BTC is definitely leading the market, and all eyes are on BTC. So, unless you spot some really interesting narratives like Purdue does, I don't think there is any point in watching altcoins now.
Yep, makes sense. I'm of much the same opinion, to be honest. Osbera, any altcoins on your watch list? Anything that has piqued your interest?
Not much, nothing different from the last roundtable. To be honest, unless what like I mean, Purdue is sharing very good like alpha regarding narratives and stuff. But just because I'm not really into it, I stick with the basics, and it means just like sticking with Sol, like for the same reasons because it's the meme king when you have a mania or something. You have a hype still because hype is definitely as it like strengthening its position to be the king of DeFi, and it's not even close. With all the institutions being bullish on tokenization and hype bringing all the TradFi assets into its ecosystem, being tradable on XYZ and stuff, then it makes sense that hype will be a big thing when we have a rally again. And then I need to find a new one for AI for the AI narrative because Tao is I don't think if it will survive the latest FUD. And it was my pick regarding AI. So now I don't really know, and I'd love to see something to find like a new one to hold my AI picks. And for now, I have none. So if Perry has any, that would be great. So yeah, we just stick with basics, Sol, hype, and if you guys know about one AI token that is worth it, then I would gladly look into it. But for now, nothing really worthy. I believe the altcoin market can still go a bit lower, not too much. I would just share if you allow me, Perry, because you're still streaming. It's gonna be
I was
really
just
quick.
showing.
Oh, sorry, you are showing something.
I was just showing Tao. You mentioned you were bearish on Tao, and I was just saying yes.
Ah, yeah, okay,
But go ahead.
Sorry.
Yeah, I
I just
think with
wanted to show
Tao,
the total tree chart.
yeah, the Tao fundamentals has become so bearish because basically the CEO got exposed that it's not decentralized. That's the whole
Yeah,
thing around Tao. So I just removed it from my watch list. That
yeah.
he took away all the revenue from
Thank-
the knots, and that's why Tao has been down only ever since. Why would you buy a project? Why would you try to bottom pick a project that is fundamentally so bearish? I mean, trading is hard enough already. Why would you try and
Yeah,
pick bottom on a coin that yeah, fundamentally very bearish at the moment? I think
Mhm.
it's a better
yeah.
shorting opportunity if you want to hedge your longs.
Yeah, that's exactly why I don't want to have it on my list anymore as an AI leader. But just I wanted to talk about the total tree charts. So basically altcoins including BTC and ETH. I think if we bottom, it's quite close. We're still in this range, and we almost back to like when the whole thing started with Trump, November 2024. Basically, we had a small dip here inside this demand. It was February. So if we are given this opportunity, then it's probably where altcoins will bottom and will be a major like a big opportunity, in my opinion, just because I apply the range principles to it. So if we dip below this low, tag the demand, even though I'm not sure like on total charts you can apply this concept, but it looks like it. So yeah, if we get inside this green area, then I think it's a good buy zone for altcoins. And anyway, if we start to lose this level and go lower and lower, it's definitely lights out. Uh, we would go back to the literally bottom levels but market bottom levels, and that wouldn't be a good thing at all. So I guess, yeah, if you don't buy here, you never buy. So that will be where I'd like to load the, maybe not the truck, but at least to be invested in spot again. And it's been a while.
For sure. It's
Yeah,
been a
I
while
think
for
it's
me as
just
well. It's like
I
going
think it's
Purdue.
just a bottom forming process, you know. It's always kind of the same every cycle where BTC starts showing some relief first, and alts stay behind. BTC dominance is going up a lot, and with every pullback, alts bleed more until BTC finally breaks through a certain key level, which in my opinion is firstly 80K and afterwards 100K before people rotate. And that's always how it's been. Like people chasing, people thinking when BTC is too high already or is pushing into big resistance levels like 80K or 100K. Eventually, when risk appetite returns to the market, BTC dominance drops and they chase the beta plays like Ethereum or Solana or the flavor of the day if you do some research. So yeah, that's how it works with altcoins, and I think we're still gonna chop a little on the majors before BTC really sets in a sustained rally and a sustained trend.
Yep, 100%. Last 5 minutes, we're going to go to Jedi and get his take on Tau. And then I'm going to go to the panel and I want everyone to tell me. We did this last month. It was quite a lot of fun. I want everyone to tell me whether or not May is going to be a green or a red month for BTC. Jedi, talk us through Tau. You were pretty early to calling that one a scam, and now it's about 40% down from the local high. Oh, he just dropped off. Okay, I think. Oh, he's back.
He's so
Mate,
back.
There you go, Jedi.
Dude, I turned my camera on and my whole Discord just spazzed out and crashed on my ass. So I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
Yes. Boomer
Okay,
problems,
so-
Jedi.
Yeah, boomer problems, but it's really nice to see that there's quite a lot of love still in this Discord, and I love you guys as well. Thank you very much to everyone who wanted to get me on stage. You guys are fucking legends. You made my week. It's been a tough month for me. I've been in the trenches. It's been good, but I want to say something. Even though I continue to be bearish overall, and I really enjoyed today's panel, by the way. I was in the car listening. I even had my 15-year-old listening very carefully. He particularly liked the French gentlemen that were speaking, even though they were somewhat bearish. I want to just put some really interesting and important things in the mix here. I have mentioned it before. Guys, there's only one altcoin that is worth investing long term, and you know where this is going. I see Folis is smiling because he's already loaded his bags. Hyperliquid, guys. Hype is the
I
one.
own zero hype.
No, dude, you're gonna land up regretting that. Let me just summarize it for all of you mother truckers. Hype is the one thing that has managed to accumulate all of these different aspects of cryptocurrency, and it's managed to stable it into one product. Hyperliquid is not an exchange, guys. It is the infrastructure for finance on all levels. HRP 1, 2, 3, and soon HRP 4 for prediction markets is this vision that this mother trucker at the age of 31 has put together. Seriously, guys, if you're not invested in hype, then what the fuck are you actually doing in this industry? These guys have got a $1.2 billion freaking business profit a year. There's 11 of them, and everyone is coming to build on their platform. If you are not bullish that, then you need to quit crypto and you need to get into making burgers. That is my chat for today. Pay attention, because this opportunity doesn't come off often. And you, Vic, who do not invest in alts, this is one alt that you need to invest in.
I agree. I agree. No, I say this every week. This is the first week I don't say it when it's our turn to talk about the altcoins on our watch list. I always say that for the next bull market, my portfolio will be 75% BTC, and then the next biggest one is hype at around 10%. Maybe I need to put more into hype and less into BTC, but when it comes to alts, hype will be my biggest bag for the next cycle, for sure.
All right, that is amazing, Jed. I'm so happy that you came in to spit some facts. We are coming to the very end of the conversation now, so I just want to go around the panel. Everyone, you get less than 60 seconds to speak. Will May be a green month or a red month? Will the BTC monthly candle close green or red? Is it going to be a case of bucking the trend, reversing the high time frame trend we've been in since October, or rather continuing to reverse it? Or is it going to be another case of sell in May and walk away? Purdue, you're up.
I think it's gonna be, yeah, it depends on where we close this monthly. I really don't know. But I think if we go to that 73, 74K level before the close, I think we close the monthly green next month in May. Go like around 80, 84K. So yeah, I'm betting on a green month, but slightly, nothing crazy, nothing crazy.
Okay, Osbra. You're
Where we
muted.
end May, right?
Yeah, will May be a
Not May.
green month or a red month for Bitcoin? For the markets, but for Bitcoin specifically.
That's a tough one because we have that sell in May and go away. Green one just because I expect the war to be over and I hope this mess will be over. And if it's over, I would tend to believe the market would be quite happy about it and it would be reflecting on the charts. So yeah,
Okay,
green.
short and sweet. Appreciate that, Osbra. Victor, and then Jedi, you're
Yeah.
up next.
I already explained why I expect a big move to happen in May. And I said that I'd rather not bet in the direction of that big move, but if I am obliged to choose gun to my head, I'm gonna say bearish. If you guys remember, we talked about, was it the March candle or the April candle? I think it was the March candle, and then BTC was around range lows. So I said simply because of the nature of ranges, it's more likely that it goes up. And it ended up being a green month. So now that we are above range highs, simply by the nature of how ranges work, I think it's more likely that we end up going down. And yeah, that's why my vote is on bearish. I'm leaning like 70-30 to bearish.
Okay. Jedi, take us home.
So just check. I just asked Perplexity over the last 10 years what we've seen in May, and there's 2 reds and the rest are greens. So like if you are looking statistically, you would say green, right? But I'm agreeing here with Vic. I think we're going to have a red May just because Trump is a retard and he's just going to continue being a retard.
Okay, I like that. I really like that statistical analysis, by the way. That's interesting. I guess sell in May and walk away means sell after after May has given you the upside that you want to dump your bags. I'm gonna say bearish because I think we're trading at a high time frame range high. I think we've been in a high time frame downtrend since October. Until that changes, my bias is that we will get the downside, especially with such an uncertain macro. It's fucking impossible to be bullish when there is so much uncertainty in the wider market landscape. But on that bombshell, guys, and we'll come back. We'll come back in a month and see whether we were accurate. Does everyone remember what they said for April? I think we were mostly correct, right? I think most people said green, right?
Yeah, I think we mostly did say green, yeah.
I think
I
we're all
always say
really
green, so I'm right once every few months.
I think we're all really smart and really great traders. That's my recollection of things, and I will not hear any opinions to the contrary. But on that note, guys, we're going to call it there. Thank you very much for joining us for today's this week's edition of the Chroma Market Roundtable. Obviously, this week we were joined by Omar from Finico, who just left a few minutes ago. He gave us his macro overview and macro opinions, particularly with reference to Trump and Warsh coming into the FOMC, coming into the Fed and the FOMC tomorrow, rather than meeting today, the results tomorrow. We were joined by Osbra, Purdue, and Victor. We talked you through the market, we talked you through Bitcoin, we talked you through alts, and we talked you through the macro political landscape. And that's kind of it, guys. We're going to call it there. We will see you next week for the next edition of the Chroma Market Roundtable. Thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.